going to start our celebration event, and I'm the MC, and I'm supposed to welcome you, but I'm not the right person or entity to welcome you. We're going to get a welcome from something much bigger than me. If you didn't get introduced, it was Melissa Ferry who was here playing the background music for you and brought this PA system. She's hiding over there. Okay. And just so you know, we have a special treat from her later on, because Melissa gets into this so much. She's also a composer, and she composed a song specifically for the incredible springs that we have here that we've haven't discovered. They've been here the whole time, but that we're refinding again, and she's called it Miracle Mile. Woo! So later on you'll get to hear a completely composed song just for this area along the Miracle Mile. So I said I'm not the one to welcome you. And this might feel weird, but it's not weird, and you all know it's not weird. What I want you to do with me is just stand nice and straight and close your eyes for a minute, okay? Let's all do that. Even you little ones, give it a try, you'll like it. Okay. And while we're doing this, get quiet. Listen to the raindrops. Yeah. And there's traffic. And there's a creek trickling beneath us. And I'm thinking about the people that came here before us. The people that were the natives to this land and enjoyed this land. But while my eyes are shut and my feet are feeling the ground, I go back further than that. Feel the ground. Feel the rock, the power, the strength, the caring in the land itself. Listen to those raindrops pattering, providing the water that falls into the ground and spills out again as groundwater that creates these springs called the Miracle Mile. And the sun and the clouds, these, you can open your eyes now if you want. That's what's welcoming you here today. The land that's been here longer than all of us and will be here longer after we leave. And isn't that a good thing? So, I hope you enjoyed that welcome from the land itself and those that came before us. And with the way we're going to start our celebration, I wanted to just let you know, if you haven't noticed already, we have some really fun tables back there. Scott English will be speaking soon, but he has a table set up over here with a whole bunch of tremendous, beautiful information about what happened here and how it happened. If you haven't already collected a memento, there's some rocks back there, and they're pretty special. Because instead of a rock that is helping to build something, you'll be taking away one of the rocks that was part of the pile of rubble that we had to remove here. So that's on the table back here. Also, we had, as we were creating this incredible channel right here, which is on bedrock, we had to get some jackhammers in there. And while we were jackhammering to make a beautiful channel entrance for the fish, the little juveniles, to get out of the high flow, we found fossils. And I won't go into that. You can read about the fossils right behind this table, because our creek is now flowing over fossils that we have learned are 70 to 90 million years old. And there are still more of them in the bedrock. Now, don't everybody go down around with hammers, okay? But I thought that was really neat. We have some information over here. And finally, did you see those beautiful bottles over there full of water? That is spring water that's been collected from one of the springs that create Blue Heron Creek. And everyone will be invited later on to get a bottle of that spring water and pour it into the creek, Pour it on your brother or sister. It doesn't matter. Put your essence into the creek, your thoughts, your ideas, your beliefs, and let that flow on out. Some of it all the way to the Pacific Ocean. So, that's kind of the layout for today. It won't be too long. Probably you will get some raindrops, but I'd love to introduce you now to some speakers that really, really have helped to make this happen. And we're going to start with the site itself and kind of grow out from there. So it's my pleasure to introduce you to my good friend as well, Scott English, who's also been the project manager for this specific project here at Blue Heron Park. Aha, you made it. Hello there, Senator Golden. Very nice to see you. I was going to read some stuff that you wrote, but maybe you can say it better. But we'll hold off for that. Okay, Scott, go ahead.
Thank you, Robert, for that introduction. I'm just going to start out with a big welcome. I know that this might have been considered a pretty iffy day, but with a little bit of luck, we'll get through it. A little bit of sunshine, a little bit of rain won't hurt anything.
Louder.
Okay, so anyway, welcome, and thank you all for coming here to celebration the reconnection of Blue Heron Creek to Bear Creek. Okay, so now I'm getting some instruction on how to use this mic. All right.
That's better.
All right, here we go. So anyway, thank you to all the members of Save the Phoenix Wetland who stood by this project, not quite knowing what the final outcome would be, and special thanks to Robert Coffan. He's basically the master of ceremonies here. He's a hydrologist and a cold water enthusiast and a major assistant in this project. And also thank you, a warm welcome to Wanda Borland. She's the videographer and social media person for this. Thank you, Wanda. And big hugs to my partner, Bonnie Morgan, and to my family and friends who put up with me throughout this epic 3.5-year-long project. Other thanks go out to Sarah Mosser, Rogue Basin Partnerships, Jeff Gertis, Dan Van Dyke, and Andri Spirica, the ODFW, Linda Marr from the Watchable Wildlife Foundation, and we have here today is Bill Molnar. He's former Ashland Planning Director, Joey Howard, Project Hydraulic Engineer, Oregon Department of Transportation, the City of Phoenix. We have with us now John Speece, Rogue River Watershed Council, Eugene Weir, Paul Kay, a local who's very supportive of this project, Oregon Garden Warehouse. They provide a lot of space for taking this berm material to. And finally, special thanks to Jim Governor of GT Excavation Team. And he and his team were really responsible for just making it happen on the ground with all their heavy equipment work. So if I will get into the mission. The vision of this project began in early 2022 after the Alameda Fire, which burned through the Bear Creek Greenway corridor of Talent and Phoenix, causing the loss of 3 lives and thousands of homes and businesses were destroyed. The fire burned much of the riparian corridor of Bear Creek, which included many areas along the creek that were overgrown with invasive blackberries and other plants. The fire exposed the springs, Blue Heron Creek, the rock berm, and opened my eyes to some ideas of restoring the burned riparian aquatic habitat and connecting Blue Heron Creek. During early 2022, I attended a meeting at the Phoenix Library where I met residents who were focused on saving a local wetland from development impacts. I happen to be familiar with the spring-fed wetland in question due to a couple of wetland delineation projects that I did in 2015-16 in Phoenix with my good friend and colleague Steve Koskela. After that initial meeting in Phoenix Library with a group that is now known as Save the Phoenix Wetlands, I joined the group and spent some time studying the springs, the little spring-fed creek. Excuse me while I flip the page. And that creek was unnamed at the time, but now we know that it's called Blue Heron Creek. Went through a very complicated local and state and federal naming process. And found out there was a large, in the process, we're looking at a large rock burn that was blocking Heron Creek from directly connecting to Bear Creek. In 2022, it seemed easy to visualize the rock berm removal and the connection of Blue Heron Creek to Bear Creek. But boy, was I wrong. We started the project with a simple conceptual idea and sketches, and then the project took on a more serious tone as we obtained required permits from Oregon Department of State Lands, the Army Corps of Engineers, the State Historic Preservation Office, Jackson County, Rogue Valley Sewer Services, Oregon Department of Transportation, and the City of Phoenix. During this time, we completed several levels of volunteer design, and questions came up about finding a funding plan. So we basically applied for a number of grants identified through the Fish and Wildlife, and we were granted a PFA grant from Fish and Wildlife Department, as well as a Watchable Wildlife Fund grant, and both those applications were approved for funding. We began the implementation of this approved project on August 15th of this year and completed the construction phase on September 30th. The riparian restoration part of this project is being handled by the Rogue River Watershed Council, which will begin in early November and end during the fall of 2028. And John Speece will be the project commander for that part of the project, and he's here and we'll be speaking about that shortly. I will be available later on to answer the project a little. I've got some materials I'd love to share with you, and I just want to close in my remarks saying it's an honor to be with you today, and let's stay dry if we can. Thank you.
Hello. Scoot in, you guys. You know, there is still some room under that, and if you're okay, it looks like some of you are getting waterlogged. Anyway, John Speece is also part of the group that's going to continue this restoration project. So come on, John, I think you have a few words.
Well, good morning. As Robert and Scott said, I'm project manager with the Rogue River Watershed Council, and I'll be real quick here. We will be leading the restoration, the riparian restoration component of this. And personally, my interest in this project is in 2019, we did, when you walked in over there, the pollinator beds, the Watershed Council led that effort there. And so when this opportunity came up to partner with Robert and Scott on this and other folks, we jumped at the opportunity. Our contractor selected for this is Plant Oregon. They donated the tree that will go in the ground later. They are also the contractor for the wetland restoration when you pull into Blue Heron Park. And Robert said we'll begin that process in November. It'll last about 3 years. Our emphasis is on stewarding the site, meaning keeping the noxious weeds down and suppressed for about a year and a half. Then we'll evaluate the planting plan and put that in the next winter. So we're about 18 months out from that. And at that point, I think we got wind and rain, so I'll pass it on to the next speaker.
Introduce yourself. Would you like to just introduce yourself, Yessie? I think you're good at that. Here you go. Another person that's part of the Save the Phoenix Wetlands group, but has branched out and doing all kinds of other things down here.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yessie Joy Verbena. I am the program director and founder at Blackberry Academy. It's the outdoor preschool, which operates here in Blue Heron Park and often now uses this new space. Today we gather not to celebrate a creek, but honor a reconnection. Blue Heron Creek was once severed from Bear Creek by the construction of I-5. It now flows freely into Bear Creek again. That freedom is the result of years of vision, persistence, and unity. I've had the privilege of working with Save the Phoenix Wetland for the last several seasons, alongside the City of Phoenix, ODFW, and my school, Blackberry Academy, and countless others who have been involved in this project, too many to name. This project is proof that when we come together across generations, disciplines, and agencies, we can heal. We can heal what was broken. Accessible outdoor spaces like this trail and this creek, they're more than amenities to communities. They are lifelines They are places of refuge for people to come, to breathe. In our case, in this community, often to grieve. It's a place to reflect, to witness wildlife firsthand, and to connect, or reconnect rather, with nature in a world that seems more disconnected every single day. For our children and the children in my class, this space is an outdoor classroom filled with wonder and questions. It is an invitation to them to become stewards of this land that they learn to love. At Blackberry Academy, we believe that a connection to nature is not just something for the privileged few, that it is a birth-given right to every child. So we offer this creek as a gift to the children and to the next generation so that they can know the joy of watching a heron take off in flight, of seeing the salmon spawn right in front of their eyes, and so that they can hear the quiet wisdom that goes in these ripples, and to connect deeply with this place where we all live and share. This reconnection was not inevitable. It was a choice. It was chosen. It was fought for, and it was made possible by many hands, by many hearts, with a shared belief that restoration is worth it. So as you walk this trail today, as you pour the water from the spring into this creek, and as you listen to the creek's new song and the rain fall today, let us keep showing up in that spirit of reconnection. Let us show up for the land, for each other, and for the children who will inherit this place. Thank you.
Okay, you can hear me, I bet, right? All right. Al Muehlhofer, Mayor of Phoenix. Hey, you know what? I'm kind of thirsty. Hold on.
Al, where did you get that water? Right over the oven.
Hey, that is the purest water I've had in a long time. Maybe better than the city of Phoenix water. It's really, really good. I love it. I feel invigorated after that little swig. Anyway, this group, the Save the Phoenix Wetlands group, is a phenomenal group. And I don't know how they started, on day one. Someday I want to hear about that. But when I got together with them, I said, "Who's in charge?" And they said, "No one." I said, "Come on. I'm not going to email all of you. I want one person to be in charge." And finally, they grudgingly said, "Okay, Robert Coffan, we'll let you email him, but he's not in charge. We're all in charge." And I've sat at the table and watched them operate. It's just amazing. The minds they have at the table. I don't know how many masters, PhDs, and just regular folks all come together. And this is what they do. This is one of their prime projects. But you know what? I just heard that they want to go on, let's call it siesta for a few months and maybe have a retreat and then come up on looking at another project or two. Well, as mayor of Phoenix, I'm going to write you a letter. I have further vision for this group. You're not just stopping here. You've got so much you can do down the line for us that I know you have the energy. I know you have the creativity. So I'm looking forward to many, many more projects. Again, a phenomenal group. I'm so proud they're in Phoenix. Thank you, Save the Phoenix Wetlands.
Okay, so I won't hold up. I just want to get in front of this guy because, as you see, we're branching out. First, you heard from the folks that have really been trying to do the work. And like Al said, there's so many other people we could thank that have been behind it all. But there's another person in the city. We've heard from the political side, But there's another shaker and mover, the director of public works, who always takes a back seat and is quiet. And when I asked him to talk, Chris Stevenson, he was like a deer in the headlights going, I don't know. But this guy has been supporting so many people that work in the parks. And I'm so happy to introduce Chris to you right now.
Can you hear me? I'm still a deer in the headlight, but thank you guys all for coming. Chris Stevenson with the City of Phoenix. Is that better? I have to disagree. The City of Phoenix water is better than this. But, I'm just kidding. So when I heard about this whole project at first, to be completely honest, I was a little nervous about it. Just because the berm, the way that I looked at the berm, it was protecting our infrastructure out there on Bear Creek Drive. I don't know if you guys know this, but we have a 24-inch water main that runs through there that feeds 3 cities. So it's our responsibility to make sure that that water line is protected. After tons and tons of meetings with you, Robert, and you, Scott, and you guys helping me understand the importance of having Blue Heron Creek enter Bear Creek, it helped me have an open mind about this whole entire project. So I can't thank you guys enough for that. And yeah, that's about all I got to say.
Okay, we're branching out. There's just a couple more speakers. Are you all hanging in there with me, guys? Okay, I like it. So another person that was here that was sick today, as we're branching out, we're part of bigger collaboration, as a lot of you know, and one of it is the Bear Creek Restoration Initiative, which is a bunch of people that got together way before we did to say, look, we got to work together in the same sandbox and work together. And the person that was going to speak with you, her name was Amy Sidlecki, who's been very helpful with us, so she at least sent me what she wanted to say. So try to envision an attractive young mom with 2 kids who works out and actually runs the Spartan thing, whatever that is. It's like a triathlon. So don't think of it me reading this. Think of her, okay? Because this is important, you guys. This puts a little more history into all this. Following the 2019 Penninger fire, which burned over 100 acres along Bear Creek in Central Point, a bunch of local organizations came together to form this thing called the Bear Creek Restoration Initiative, or BCRI. And their goal was simple, but pretty ambitious, to take a more holistic approach, like Yessie was talking about, to managing the Bear Creek corridor. Look beyond habitat and water quality to consider wildlife resilience, public safety, recreation, and the needs of our local communities. So their vision was for a corridor that strikes a balance with all that. Part wild, part natural riparian area, and part managed space with trails and park amenities. A place that's safe and inviting for people and improves water quality still all at once. Then came 2020, the Alameda fire, which devastated much of the Rogue Valley, including many of the very areas that they had identified already. And the members quickly came together to stabilize those areas and get after it again with erosion control and replanting riparian vegetation to protect that creek right back there. The most urbanized creek in southern Oregon. Actually, I put that part in. And that brings us here to Blue Heron Park today. This park was one of BCRI's priority sites even before that fire, and today it stands as a real success story because it's become a community hub, home to interpretive signs, a bunch of salmon watch field trips, and, she says, the wonderful Blackberry Academy outdoor preschool. But what's truly remarkable here is the reconnection of Blue Heron Creek to Bear Creek, a project that restores natural processes, improves habitat, and it strengthens the ecosystem. And she would wrap up, on behalf of the Bear Creek Restoration Initiative, I want to say a heartfelt thank you to the dedicated partners, the funders, the community members who all made this work possible. Your efforts are helping to create a healthier, safer, and more resilient Bear Creek corridor for generations to come. Thank you, Amy Sidlecki, the National Resources Coordinator of the Rogue Valley Council of Government. So we're branching out a little bit wider and wider. We've got a bigger political arena that seems to be interested in what we're doing here. And I would like to now introduce you to Representative Pam Marsh to cover that, whatever you'd like to say. Come on up. Thank you.
Testing? Oh, yes, it's definitely working. Well, today is definitely a celebration of water. Water coming down from the skies, water flowing through to the creeks. And if you haven't thought about it, it also should be a real celebration of what Yessie and the Blackberry Academy do every day. She's out here. We're all huddled under these tents. Yessie is out here with 3- and 4-year-olds every single day. Some days the sun is out, and some days it's a day just like this. And you can see from the little ones who are present with us that this kind of weather is not intimidating to them at all. And at Blackberry Academy, they have the chance to explore all of these environments in every kind of weather. What a terrific opportunity for kiddos. You know, I've been out on this site first when Robert and the Hardy Band of Save the Wetlands volunteers shared the very beginning of the creek with me and explained what the vision was. And I was out here visiting Yessie, and I saw the excavator moving boulders around. And all of that, none of it prepared me for the joy that I feel in watching this creek and tracking it back from the spring through the woods and out to the creek. This is a momentous accomplishment for people who simply saw the vision and pulled together with their neighbors and were able to acquire some money and had the expertise to make this happen. It's an incredible affirmation of community, and it is a gift to all of us who are going to enjoy and benefit from these wetlands and the restoration of this area for years to come. So all I can say today is thank you. Thank you for doing that. Thank you to everyone for coming out to celebrate today.
And thank you, Pam. So, Senator, you weren't on here, and so I shouldn't make a big deal about it, but I had some words from you. Would you like to say, like, just 1 or 2 sentences? All right, should we let him do it or not? I guess. Do it. Okay. I will tell you that Senator Golden, we should clap that he made it across the creek. That's good. But also, this is really fun. I will tell you also that Senator Golden was out here, and if you guys haven't seen it, did you see this pole right here that Sarah's standing next to? Look at that later, and Senator Golden and Pam, I think you were up there too. That thing up there at 9 feet, that is where the rubble was. We used to stand up there when we gave tours of this area. We were standing that high above the natural grade and the natural floodplain. Can you imagine that now? Can you believe that we were that high? Anybody else that took that tour, look at that later, and it's just amazing that's how much material's been removed here to reconnect this floodplain and help the Bear Creek corridor. So I'm going to start with that. Here you go.
Hey, so Bob, how long ago was that? How long ago was that when we were out here and you were describing the vision? Was it like 2 years, 2.5 years?
1 year.
Three,
Probably 2 years.
two or 3 years, I think, something like that. And I wasn't worried the way Chris was, because I don't know the layout of the water lines, but I'll say I was skeptical because I looked at this, loved the vision, what a great idea, really pure restoration, and I thought, well, there is a lot of earth to move here, and more than that, boy, do these folks have some red tape ahead of them with a number of agencies, and are they going to be able to persist? Well, here's the answer. So this is about as cool a thing as I've seen in a long time for a couple big reasons. One is I spent a lot of my time in Salem on fish issues and fish habitat, and as you all know,
salmon are really struggling all over the Northwest and in Oregon particularly. And what they need is colder and fresher and more water than they're generally getting with the summers we're having. And what helps them enormously is having places on their way upstream where they can rest in somewhat cooler water, refugia, we call it. So you folks have created what I think will be a vital resting place for salmon who are recovering. There's some good news about all that, but it's still a real challenge for them. This is going to make a measurable difference. And in a bigger way, this is a big project. It's even bigger than it looks, I think. And I say that because we're living in some rough times. And one of the things we're all experiencing with people we know is some discouragement about our abilities to make a difference. There's so many people who really want to leave our place, the Rogue Valley, and the world a little better than they found it, want to leave something wonderful to their kids and grandkids. And more with the way the world is going, a lot of people are just not finding a way to do that, not feeling their own power, not thinking that they can really make a difference. Well, we have a reminder about that right here. And in many ways, some of the ways you try to make a difference politically, it's kind of hard to see the progress. But when people see what you've done here and see this little spot of land, this little tributary to the Rogue River, grow up and move back towards its original state and get enjoyed by so many people in the community from 3 years old on up, they're going to want a part of this. So I think besides restoring this creek, this tributary, you're restoring community and civic courage in Phoenix and in the Rogue Valley. And that is an enormous gift. And I just can't tell you how pleased and proud I am of all of you, and how grateful I am for making what's going to be a real difference in the Rogue Valley and an example for the rest of the state. And I want to come back here year after year, see these kids grow up some, and see this little basin grow up some. It's going to be really inspiring. Thank you, Bob, so much for what you and your team have done.
And thank you. As my buddy Scott says all the time, it sounds like such a worn-out cliche, but it really does take a village. This is one of those. So it's time to have a few of us start to move around at least. Everyone's been very, very patient. One quick wanted to just mention that we are actually standing on Department of Transportation property, and Julie Worsley from ODOT could not be here today, but is very supportive of the project and sends you a big hello as well. It's been great how we've worked through that red tape with different property owners and permits and so on. So a hello from Julie Worsley and ODOT. And the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife, Jeff Gertis, could not be here. But I'm going to stop that speaking part because it's time to plant a tree. John, where are you? I know, I'm just bothering you. So we have a tree that's been donated, a big leaf maple. And I want you all to look at this because you see what we're looking at is the mouth of the brand new creek. Now, can you imagine, folks, a big leaf maple with a bench under it, sitting at the shade, watching the salmon come up, watching all the blue herons. So we're going to plant that big leaf maple, and I'd like to invite everybody that's part of the Save the Phoenix Wetlands to go on over there and grab a shovel. And John, you're going to help them to get that big leaf maple planted. If you also see while they're heading over there, come on, Marcia, Hala. This tree has been donated by Plant Oregon, who some of you have probably heard of them before. They've done a lot of restoration work here all over the valley and have been here for years. You see that big clear carboy back there that's full of water right behind the tree. I got that water. That was hard. That is also spring water from one of the springs that actually feed Blue Heron Creek right here in Blue Heron Park. So once that tree is planted, we're going to be watering that in and getting the roots established for the first time with spring water from the spring source.
I'll introduce myself. My name is Melissa Ferry. I was asked by Tiziana to write a song. I came here to the site, sat with the water, and this is what came to me. The goddess weaves waters with truth. All along the miracle mile, the streams speak of the ancients to you. Many 4 seasons pass with wilderness retreating along the fire's path on a September morning. All along the miracle mile, the land where old is new. 16 sisters flowing free, goddess in the creek and me. Purify, never tire, goddess of earth and fire. She founded the springs, now we found her. She founded the springs, now we found her. All along the miracle mile, touch the tainted, leave them clean. All along the miracle mile, carry salmon through the stream. Many 4 seasons pass and we reawaken. The story, the legacy cannot be shaken. 16 sisters flowing free, goddess in the creek and me. Purify, never tire, goddess born of earth and fire. She founded the springs, and now we have found her. She founded the springs, now we have found her. She founded the springs, now we found her. Thank you. And thank you for sharing in this with all of us today. So grateful.
Okay, well, what we have left now is, if you would like, everyone that wants to, all these bottles that were donated, by the way, from Phoenix Industrial Studios are full of spring water that has never yet made it into Blue Heron Creek. They were connected right at the spring. Feel free to take the bottles home. Whatever you want to do, leave them here if you don't want the bottles, but help yourself to a bottle of spring water. And the whole idea is whatever you feel like, however it might move you or not move you, take a bottle of water and pour it into the creek or whatever your heart desires.
Oh, it's okay.
sorry. He's the man. He's got it. Oh, yeah.